Tom and Sarah had been married for 10 years. They had two beautiful kids, Emily and Jack, and a lovely home in the suburbs. But despite their perfect facade, Sarah felt unfulfilled and lonely. Tom worked long hours as a financial advisor, and Sarah felt like she was shouldering the responsibilities of raising their children and managing the household on her own. One day, while attending a school meeting for Emily, Sarah met Alex. He was a charming and handsome man who had recently moved to the area with his daughter. They struck up a conversation, and Sarah found herself feeling drawn to him. They exchanged numbers, and Alex suggested they grab coffee sometime. Sarah tried to brush off the feeling, telling herself she was just being friendly. But she couldn't shake the sense of connection she had felt with Alex. She found herself thinking about him more and more, wondering what it would be like to have someone to talk to, someone who would listen to her and make her feel alive again. As the days turned into weeks, Sarah and Alex's coffee dates became more frequent. They would meet at a local cafe, laughing and talking for hours. Sarah felt like she had found a true friend, someone who understood her in a way that Tom didn't. As the weeks turned into months, Sarah and Alex's friendship deepened. They would meet for coffee, go for walks, and even have dinner together. Sarah felt like she had found a soulmate, someone who truly understood her. She couldn't believe she had gone so long without feeling this way. But as their relationship deepened, Sarah started to feel guilty. She was married, after all, and shouldn't be spending so much time with another man. She tried to brush off the feeling, telling herself she was just being friendly, but deep down, she knew it was more than that. Tom, Sarah's husband, started to notice a change in her. She was happier, more energetic, and seemed to be glowing. At first, he thought it was just because she was finally getting out of the house and socializing, but as the months went by, he started to suspect something was going on. "Who's this Alex guy?" Tom asked one day, as they were getting ready for bed. "Oh, just a friend from school," Sarah replied, trying to sound nonchalant. Tom raised an eyebrow. "A friend, huh? You seem to be spending an awful lot of time with him." Sarah shrugged. "We just click, okay? He's a great guy." Tom didn't push the issue, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. As the months went by, Tom's suspicions grew. He could see the way Sarah looked at Alex, the way she laughed at his jokes, the way she seemed to come alive when he was around. He knew his wife, and he knew she was hiding something. One day, Tom decided to follow Sarah. He tracked her to a coffee shop, where he saw her sitting with Alex, holding hands and gazing into each other's eyes. Tom felt like he had been punched in the gut. He confronted Sarah that night, his anger and hurt boiling over. "Who is he?" he demanded. "What's going on?" Sarah broke down, confessing everything. She told Tom about the affair, about the way she felt alive with Alex, about the way she couldn't help herself. Tom was devastated. He felt like his whole world had been turned upside down. He didn't know if he could ever trust Sarah again. But as they talked, Tom realized that he still loved Sarah. He wanted to work through their issues, to rebuild their marriage. Sarah, too, was committed to making things work. They started therapy, working through their problems and rebuilding their relationship. It wasn't easy, but they were determined to make it work. As they worked through their issues in therapy, Tom and Sarah began to rebuild their relationship. They learned to communicate effectively, to trust each other, and to appreciate each other's needs. But just as things were starting to look up, Alex reappeared on the scene. He had been quiet for months, but now he was texting Sarah, calling her, and showing up at her work. Sarah was torn. She still had feelings for Alex, but she was committed to making her marriage work. She tried to ignore him, but he wouldn't go away. One day, Alex showed up at Tom's office, demanding to see Sarah. Tom, feeling protective of his wife, told Alex to leave. But Alex refused, saying he had something important to tell Sarah. Tom, fed up, called security, and Alex was escorted out of the building. But not before he dropped a bombshell. He had been using Sarah all along, playing on her vulnerabilities to get to Tom. Sarah was devastated. She felt like she had been blind to Alex's true intentions. She realized now that she had been so caught up in the excitement of the affair that she hadn't stopped to think about what Alex really wanted. Sarah was heartbroken. She felt like she had been used and manipulated by Alex. She couldn't believe she had been so blind to his true intentions. Tom, seeing his wife's distress, comforted her. He told her that he was there for her, that he loved her, and that they would get through this together. Sarah, grateful for Tom's support, realized that she had made a mistake. She had let her desire for excitement and attention cloud her judgment. She had put her marriage and her family at risk. But now, she saw things clearly. She knew that she wanted to be with Tom, to work through their issues and build a stronger marriage. Together, Tom and Sarah confronted Alex. They told him that they knew what he had done, and that they wanted nothing to do with him. Alex, realizing he had lost, slunk away, defeated. With Alex out of the picture, Tom and Sarah focused on rebuilding their relationship. They continued therapy, worked on communication, and made time for each other. Slowly but surely, their marriage began to heal. They learned to appreciate each other, to trust each other, and to love each other again. A year had passed since the affair. Tom and Sarah's marriage was stronger than ever. They had worked hard to rebuild their relationship, and it had paid off. They had learned to appreciate each other, to communicate effectively, and to trust each other without condition. One day, Tom turned to Sarah and said, "You know, I'm glad that affair happened." Sarah looked at him in surprise. "What do you mean?" she asked. "If it hadn't happened, we might still be stuck in our old ways," Tom said. "We might still be taking each other for granted. But the affair forced us to confront our issues, to communicate, and to appreciate each other." Sarah nodded in agreement. "You're right," she said. "I'm glad too." Tom smiled, taking Sarah's hand in his. "I love you," he said. "I love you too," Sarah replied. They hugged, holding each other tightly. They knew that their marriage was solid, that they could face anything as long as they had each other. And so, Tom and Sarah lived happily ever after, their marriage stronger and more loving than ever. The end.